Hi and welcome to your Niagara News headlines for Friday, August the 3rd, provided by Bullet News Niagara and NicFad TV. I'm Annie Sylvester. Let's check in with your local weather first of all. Tonight, clearing, a low of 23. For Saturday, sunny, increasing cloudiness in the afternoon, a high of 33. Sunday, cloudy, a 70% chance of showers. Windy, a low of 24, a high of 27. Monday, sunny, a low of 19, a high of 26. And for Tuesday, sunny skies again, a low of 17, a high of 27. And now to some of your top headlines. Niagara Regional Police and fire officials were called in at around 3:30 this morning after a caller reported a woman going over the wall adjacent to the Gorge. Emergency services used infrared light to find the woman in some bushes on a ledge about 25 feet down. The only details being made available at this time are that a 38-year-old was rescued and taken to Greater Niagara General Hospital in Niagara Falls with minor injuries. And now to another rescue operation, this time at Balls Falls, where a 22-year-old woman planning to jump from a waterfall ended up falling the 90-foot plunge instead. The woman suffered leg, neck, and back injuries and was rescued by emergency personnel who rappelled over the ledge with a basket and brought her up using a trail. She was then transported by ambulance to a field where she was airlifted to hospital. Ontario Special Investigation Unit continues to probe into the death of a Niagara Falls teen, Ryan Dubé, who fell to his death after a police chase into the Niagara Gorge. The SIU is a civilian law enforcement agency independent of the police. It's called in to investigate any incidents involving the police that have resulted in serious injury or death of a civilian. Now, the SIU assigned 7 investigators and 2 forensic investigators to the case and are seeking anyone who may have information to come forwards. The search for a Grimsby resident, Shayna Carter, who was last seen December 4th, 2010, entered a new phase this week as divers from the Niagara Regional Police started what is expected to be a weeks-long search of waterways, ponds, and pools with a 2-kilometer radius of the Grimsby woman's home for her remains or clues to her disappearance. The 25-year-old woman's death is considered very suspicious and foul play is suspected. Anyone with information is asked to call police. Carlo Botera, a former city employee escorted from the last Niagara Falls City Council meeting by police, says he'll be back no matter what the consequences. Botera was banned from attending City Hall during council meetings after a formal complaint was received from a city councillor about an alleged incident during a council meeting late last year when he entered a forbidden area and exchanged heated words with Chief Administrator Ken Todd. The city then hired a private security firm to give recommendations on how to deal with Botera, which resulted in a letter being sent to him invoking the Trespass to Property Act. Botera has not had an opportunity to defend himself against the claims made against him, as would be the case if municipal officials were required to seek a restraining order in court before imposing the ban. Now to Rick Van Sickle's Win Wines of the Week. Weir Wines have a new home in Niagara on the Beamsville Bench, with renovations well underway for a late fall opening. All Weir Wine profits from the sale of every bottle go to the Mike Weir Foundation that helps support Canadian children in need. And Rick reviews this week's Weir's Pinot Noir 2009. He then looks at 13th Street White Palette 2011 and Lakeview Cellars Reserve Cabernet Merlot 2010. For the full write-ups, please go to bulletnewsniagara.ca. 8-year-old tennis prodigy Stefan Semenovic from Niagara Falls will step into the spotlight at Rogers Cup. He's been invited to play an exhibition on Centre Court at York University's Rexall Centre. Dave Boland, pro at the Welland Tennis Club, says he has never seen anyone better at his age. Stefan is already ranked number 2 in the Ontario Under-9 division and 6th in the Under-10 section, and says he likes to play and practices every day for a couple of hours. For more on this story, please go to bulletnewsniagara.ca. Okay, let's take a break here. More news in a moment.
Niagara Battery and Tire, with 3 locations to serve you better. Michelin Hydro Edge tires for your car or minivan. The value keeps rolling kilometer after kilometer. Niagara Battery and Tire, home of legendary service.
Welcome back. Whirlpool Jet Boat Tours is a great way to get up close and personal with nature. I headed down to the docks to find out a little bit more and experience it firsthand. Let's take a look. Whirlpool jet boat tours is probably one of the most exhilarating ways to experience the Niagara region. I got a chance to experience it firsthand with my friend Joyce Morocco. Let's get on board and check it out.
I'm Kinney, and I am the operating partner, president of Whirlpool Jet Boat Tours.
So let's talk about these boats first of all. They are phenomenal pieces of power. What are we sitting in when we're in one of your boats?
This is a 44-foot long, 14-foot wide, 1,500 horsepower turbo diesel jet boat. Now that's a lot of mumbo-jumbo mechanical talk for a machine that needs to be very powerful to push both the weight of the boat, and we have about 8,000 pounds worth of passengers up these big Class 5 rapids that we have here on the Niagara River. I was 17 years old. I was on the U.S. Wildwater kayaking team. We were traveling. We stopped and checked out the falls like everybody else. But being whitewater people, we were intrigued by just a mile below the falls, these amazing whitewater rapids, and nobody was doing anything with them. We knew we had to make these rapids accessible to the visiting public in some way, shape, or form. And back in the early 80s and even to the late 80s, the technology that you see here did not exist. We finally figured out what hull shape we needed and the power that we would need to be able to go up through the Niagara Gorge. I think the important thing that we do here is we make the whitewater phenomena of Niagara, which obviously starts at the falls, but we have this other phenomena which we have made very popular over the last 20 years. And what's really cool about what we do is we take 6-year-old kids and we take seniors into their 80s and 90s. Our record is a 96-year-old lady has taken the trip. We make this amazing piece of nature accessible to everybody that visits Niagara. Niagara is all about the river and the water, and the whole story of Niagara is on this trip, from the historic forts that we pass along the way. Right where we are now, the most famous battle of the War of 1812 occurred right where we're standing here. And then as we enter the gorge, we go past the man-made marvels of Niagara and the hydroelectric plants and Niagara's role in the electrification of North America. And then once we get upstream of the power plants is where we get into these amazing rapids. The whole story of Niagara is in this 1-hour trip. We ask people to dedicate 2 hours to our experience. We need to have you arrive ahead of time. We do a safety orientation for all of our guests, what we call our Jet Dome program. Again, the neat thing about it is we do the exact same whitewater and the exact same configuration that we do in the open boat, and they just don't have time to get wet and change clothes and whatnot. And for those guests, we've got the Dome program for them, and we've been doing it now for about 12 years, and it's a very important part of what we do here. Our season is May to October. We are so proud to say that we have taken 1.5 million people on our trip and brought every one of them back, and we've even picked a few up along the way. We keep everybody inside the boat, and these boats, we are completely certified by both Transport Canada and U.S. Coast Guard, and safety is the premise of what we do here.
And that wraps up today's newscast from everyone here at Bullet News Niagara and ICFAD TV. I'm Annie Sylvester. Have a great weekend.